All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Sunil Verma, and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch two innovative customer-centric initiatives of the Reserve Bank of India at 11 a.m. today. Government says India's economy is fully back on track with the indicators showing great results. President Ram Nath Kovind urges governors to play the role of friend, philosopher and guide to public and government. New guidelines issued by Health Ministry for international arrivals to become effective from today. COVID vaccination coverage in the country crosses 110 crore 74 lakh mark. Public Service Broadcasting Day, commemorating Mahatma Gandhi's visit to All India Radio, being observed today. Met Office says depression over North Tamil Nadu coast to weaken gradually into a well-marked low-pressure area by this evening. Union Sports Minister Anurag Thakur lauds UP government for recognizing the efforts of para-athletes who won medals at the Tokyo Paralympics. And in T20 Cricket World Cup, Australia beat Pakistan by 5 wickets in Dubai to enter the final, to take on New Zealand in the summit clash on Sunday. As India created history by administering over 100 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses, other frontline workers, and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch 2 innovative customer-centric initiatives of the Reserve Bank of India today at 11 a.m. through video conferencing. These initiatives are the RBI Retail Direct Scheme and the Reserve Bank Integrated Ombudsman Scheme. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and RBI Governor Shaktikant Das will also attend the event. A report.
The RBI Retail Direct Scheme is aimed at enhancing access to government securities market for retail investors. It offers them a new avenue for directly investing in securities issued by Government of India and the state government. Investors will be able to easily open and maintain their government securities account online with the RBI free of cost. The Reserve Bank Integrated Ombudsman Scheme aims to further improve the grievance redressal mechanism for resolving customer complaints against entities regulated by RBI. The central theme of the scheme is based on one nation, one ombudsman with one portal, one email and one address for the customers to lodge their complaints. A multilingual toll-free number will provide all relevant information on grievance redress and assistance for filing complaints. Anupamish, AR News, Delhi.
Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said that India's economy is fully back on track with the indicators showing great results. Speaking at a media conclave in New Delhi yesterday, he said GST collections were touching 1.3 lakh crore rupees and Purchasing Managers Index for Services was at a decadal high. Mr. Goyal added that COVID-19 has given India a huge opportunity to prepare for the next 25 years. He also said the lockdown gave the time to ramp up the capabilities and capacities to tackle the pandemic like no other country. Regarding Atmanirbhar Bharat, the minister said it is not about closing all imports. Instead, it is a holistic program targeting the benefits for 1.3 billion people and will create capacities for the future. Mr. Goyal said that India believes in multilateral free and fair trade and it is going through engagement with the world through FTAs, balanced and fair equitable agreements.
President Ram Nath Kovind has exhorted the governors to play the role of a friend, philosopher and guide to the public and the government. The President inaugurated the 51st Conference of Governors, Lieutenant Governors and Administrators at Rashtrapati Bhavan yesterday. He said that governors have a very important role in creating awareness among the people about their national goals and ensuring public participation. President Kovind urged the governors to adopt best practices in their states as discussed in the conference.
मैं आशा करता हूं कि अपनी रिपोर्ट तथा प्रस्तुतियों में आप सब विषयों पर विशेष प्रकाश डालेंगे तथा अपनी बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस साझा करेंगे। साथ ही कोरोना की आपदा का सामना करने के दौरान जन कल्याण कार्यों तथा वैक्सीनेशन में तेजी लाने के प्रयासों को भी आप रेखांकित करें। मुझे विश्वास है कि शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में आपके योगदान के बल पर भारत को नॉलेज सुपर पावर बनाने का हमारा राष्ट्रीय लक्ष्य अवश्य सिद्ध होगा।
In his address, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu urged the governors to play a proactive role in monitoring the various central government projects and schemes and ensure that the money intended for people's welfare is spent for the right purpose. In his address at the conference, Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged the governors to travel to the remotest villages of the state and interact with neighbouring governors regularly to know about people's problems. Mr. Modi pointed out that he had faced criticism during the raging pandemic from economists for not following the path of printing currency notes and distributing it as doles. But now the economists all over the world are looking up to India as the country has given a new economic model to the world by not only salvaging the situation but also giving a fillip to growth. The Department of Telecommunications has allotted license and spectrum to Vodafone Idea Limited and Reliance Jio Infocom for 5G testing in Gujarat. Vodafone has been given license for urban area of Gandhinagar, semi-urban area of Mansa and Unava rural with Nokia as equipment supplier, while Reliance Jio got Jamnagar semi-urban and rural areas with Samsung as equipment supplier. Yesterday, the steering committee of Gujarat License Service Area for 5G visited the testing site at Gandhinagar and checked the data speed at the Mahatma Mandir 5G site, which is found to be about 1.5 Gbps, almost 100 times faster than 4G.
India Post Payments Bank has entered into a tie-up with Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance Company to enable customers, particularly from weaker sections and living in unbanked and underserved areas, to become financially secure and empowered. Yesterday, Department of Post and Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance Company announced a strategic partnership for offering term and annuity products to customers. These products will be provided through the bank's extensive network of 650 branches and over 136,000 banking access points.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch two innovative customer-centric initiatives of the Reserve Bank of India at 11 a.m. today. Government says India's economy is fully back on track with the indicators showing great results. President Ramnath Kovind urges governors to play the role of friend, philosopher and guide to public and government. New guidelines issued by Health Ministry for international arrivals to become effective from today. COVID vaccination coverage in the country crosses 110 crore 74 lakh mark. Public Service Broadcasting Day commemorating Mahatma Gandhi's visit to All India Radio being observed today. Met Office says depression over North Tamil Nadu coast to weaken gradually into a well-marked low-pressure area by this evening. Union Sports Minister Anurag Thakur lauds UP government for recognizing the efforts of para-athletes who won medals at the Tokyo Paralympics. And in T20 Cricket World Cup, Australia beat Pakistan by 5 wickets in Dubai to enter the final, to take on New Zealand in the summit clash on Sunday. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
स्वाधीनता आंदोलन के दौरान भारतीय जनमानस को उत्प्रेरित कर स्वतंत्रता का अलख जगाने और मातृभूमि के प्रति सेवा, समर्पण और त्याग की ज्वाला प्रज्वलित कर देने वाले अमर गीतों पर आधारित विशेष कार्यक्रम आजादी के तराने सुनना न भूलें। FM गोल्ड 100.1 मेगाहर्ट्ज पर प्रत्येक शुक्रवार शाम 4:45 पर परिक्रमा कार्यक्रम के अंतर्गत आजादी के तराने सिर्फ आकाशवाणी पर।
The Union Health Ministry has issued a new list of guidelines for international arrivals. which will become effective from today. According to the new guidelines, all travellers will have to submit self-declaration form on the online Air Suvidha portal www.newdelhiairport.in before the scheduled travel. They should upload a negative COVID-19 RT-PCR report and the test should have been conducted within 72 hours of undertaking the journey. The guidelines say each passenger shall also submit a declaration with respect to authenticity of the report and will be liable for criminal prosecution if found otherwise. Airlines to allow boarding by only those passengers who have filled in the self-declaration form on the Air Suvidha portal and uploaded the negative RT-PCR test report. At the time of boarding the flight, only asymptomatic travellers will be allowed to board after thermal screening. On arrival, if the passengers are found to be symptomatic during screening, they shall be immediately isolated and taken to medical facility as per health protocol, and if tested positive, their contacts shall be identified and managed as per laid down protocol. The guidelines say that on the basis of reciprocity, travellers from those countries which provide quarantine-free entry to vaccinated Indians are allowed certain relaxations on arrival. The guidelines say children under 5 years of age are exempted from both pre- and post-arrival testing. COVID vaccination coverage in the country has crossed 110 crore 74 lakh mark. More than 74 crore 65 lakh vaccine doses have been given as first dose, while over 36 crore 8 lakh doses have been administered as second dose. Union Health Ministry said that more than 48 lakh 76,000 vaccine doses were administered till 7 p.m. yesterday. As part of the nationwide vaccination drive, the centre has been supporting the states and union territories by providing them COVID vaccines free of cost.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has thanked Dulari Devi, an artist from Bihar's Madhubani, who presented him her artwork during an informal interaction with Padma awardees at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Dulari Devi, a Madhubani artist, was conferred Padma Shri by President Ramnath Kovind at a function at Rashtrapati Bhavan on November 9th.
Today is Public Service Broadcasting Day. The day is celebrated every year to commemorate the first and last visit of Mahatma Gandhi to the studio of All India Radio Delhi in 1947. We have a report.
It was Diwali Day 70 years ago when Mahatma Gandhi couldn't visit the refugees of partition stationed at Kurukshetra in Haryana and decided to convey his message through radio instead. This was going to be Gandhiji's first and last live broadcast at All India Radio on November 12, 1947. Gandhiji had reportedly said that he saw the medium of radio as Shakti, the miraculous power of God. Gandhiji began his speech saying, "My brothers and sisters who are suffering, I do not know if only you or some other people are also listening to it."
जब मैंने सुना कि आप लोगों में करीब 2.5 लाख रिफ्यूजी पड़े हैं और मैंने सुना कि अभी भी लोग आते ही रहते हैं, तो मुझको बड़ा दुख हुआ, मुझे चोट लगी और मुझको ऐसा ही हुआ कि मैं आपके पास पहुंच जाऊं, लेकिन ये हो नहीं सकता था। तो घनश्याम दास जी ने शायद सोचना की कि अगर मैं रेडियो से बोलूं आपके लिए और आपके सामने तो अच्छा होगा। मैंने कुछ भी हिंदुस्तान की सेवा की है या तो कहो कि जगत की, क्योंकि मेरे पास हिंदुस्तान और जगत कोई अनोखी चीज नहीं है। अगर हिंदुस्तान की सेवा करता हूं तो उसके मार्फत भी सारे जगत की सेवा करना, ये मेरा जीवन भर का मंत्र है।
Broadcasting in India actually began about 13 years before AAR came into existence. In June 1923, the Radio Club of Bombay made the first ever broadcast in the country. This was followed by the setting up of Calcutta Radio Club 5 months later. On June 8, 1936, the Indian State Broadcasting Service became All India Radio. Ravi Kumar with Divakar for AAR News.
And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
12th of November 1930. First Roundtable Conference started in London. In 1919, the freedom movement was in full swing with its non-cooperation movement spearheaded by Gandhiji. Also, the Government of India Act 1919 could not satisfy the demands of Indians for increased participation of Indians in all branches of governance.
There were increasing demands of granting dominion status to India among a certain section of the British polity too. Thus, to inquire into the working of the Government of India Act 1919, Simon Commission was appointed.
In response to the inadequacy of the Simon Report, the then British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald in 1929 decided to hold a series of roundtable conferences in London. There were 3 such conferences.
The first Roundtable Conference convened from the 12th of November 1930 to the 19th of January 1931. Prior to the conference, Mahatma Gandhi had initiated the civil disobedience movement. Consequently, Congress did not participate in the first conference, but representatives from other Indian parties and a number of princes did. The outcomes of the first Roundtable Conference were minimal. The British government realized that the Indian National Congress needed to be part of deciding the future of constitutional government in India. The British Indian government released the political leaders of Congress to make a favourable environment for the talks between Gandhi and Lord Irwin.
After the end of the first Roundtable Conference, Tej Bahadur Sapru, C.Y. Chintamani and Srinivas Shastri appealed and tried to persuade Mahatma Gandhi to talk with Viceroy Lord Irwin. Following the talks in March 1931, the Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed, and Gandhiji agreed to suspend the civil disobedience movement and also consented to participate in the second Roundtable Conference.
12th November is also the death anniversary of Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya, the famed Indian educationist and freedom fighter who is also called Mahamana.
Malviya was born on 25th of December 1861 in Allahabad and studied in Calcutta University. He then became a school teacher and later a lawyer and a newspaper editor. He is also the founder of the Hindu Mahasabha.
Malviya was an important figure in the non-cooperation movement.
In 1928, he joined Lala Lajpat Rai, Jawaharlal Nehru and many others in protesting against the Simon Commission, which had been set up by the British to consider India's future. Just as the Buy British campaign was sweeping England, he issued on 30th of May 1932 a manifesto urging concentration on the Buy Indian movement in India. Malviya was a delegate at the Second Roundtable Conference in 1931.
During the civil disobedience movement, he was arrested on the 25th of April 1932, along with 450 other Congress volunteers in Delhi. Malviya was the only leader of the Indian National Congress who was appointed as its president for 4 terms.
Malviya always tried for Hindu-Muslim unity. He gave 2 famous speeches on communal harmony, one in Lahore in 1922 and in Kanpur in 1931. In his presidential address at the INC's Calcutta session in 1933, he said,
I implore all Hindus and Mussalmans, Sikhs, Christians and Parsis and all other countrymen to sink all communal differences and to establish political unity among all sections of the people.
इस घर को देखकर हम कहते हैं कि इसका रचने वाला कोई चतुर पुरुष था, जिसने रहने वालों के सुख के लिए जो जो प्रबंध आवश्यक था उसको विचार कर घर रचा। हमने रचने वाले को देखा भी नहीं, तो भी हमको निश्चय होता है कि घर का रचने वाला कोई था।
To redeem his resolve to serve the cause of education and social service, he renounced his well-established practice of law in 1911 forever in order to follow the tradition of sannyasa throughout his life. He pursued the avowed commitment to live on society's support.
But when 177 freedom fighters were convicted to be hanged in the Chauri Chaura case, he appeared before the court despite his vow and got acquitted 156 freedom fighters. Malviya, who was keenly interested in uplifting the educational standards of the country, was the principal founder in 1916 of the Banaras Hindu University in Varanasi, a premier institution of learning.
Malviya's consciousness toward the public led to the launch of his own Hindi language weekly, the Abhyudaya, the leader of Allahabad, an English language daily, and the Hindi monthly, the Maryada.
He was conferred with the Bharat Ratna along with former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar, AIR News ke Sang. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewelry. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago.
A total of 15 films are lined up for international competition at the 52nd International Film Festival of India, which will be held in Goa from the 20th of November. The best of the feature-length fiction films from all over the world are selected to compete in the section. It is one of the most important sections of the festival that features some of the best films of the year, and these 15 films compete for the Golden Peacock and other awards. Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in a statement said that the movies that are part of the lineup include Any Day Now, Charlotte, Intrigalde, Land of Dreams, Leader, Once We Were Good for You, and Saving One Who Was Dead. Here's more in this desk report.
The most prestigious film festivals in the world are held in Venice, Cannes and Berlin, collectively known as the Big Three. The Venice Film Festival in Italy began in 1932 and is the oldest film festival still running. The Cannes Film Festival, or Palme d'Or, is the most exclusive international film festival in the world. The Berlin International Film Festival is also referred to as Berlinale. Berlinale is open to public and screens 400 films each year and attracts huge numbers of people, with its 2018 attendance totaling 18,000 film professionals, 3,700 journalists, and hundreds of thousands of people from the general public. Edinburgh International Film Festival is the longest running festival in Great Britain, as well as the longest continually running film festival in the world. Though there are dozens of influential film festivals, but Toronto, Sundance, Raindance and SXSW are some of the biggest festivals. The International Film Festival of India, IFFI, is organized by the Government of India and was founded in 1952. Other notable festivals include Hong Kong International Film Festival, Busan, Melbourne, Beirut and Cairo International Film Festival. These festivals bring the world together just a bit closer and reminds us that all stories are worthy of being told. Aarti Rana, AIR News, Delhi.
With the ongoing UN Climate Summit, or the Conference of Parties COP26 in Glasgow, All India Radio brings to you a ready reckoner every day. Under the COP26 Explainer series, we bring for you daily the terms and concepts in use during the conference. Today we shall discuss about women empowerment through and for climate action. Deputy Mission Director of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, Karen Kilmovsky said, USAID, in partnership with the Government of India, is working to improve opportunities for women and strengthen their climate resilience.
The United States is tackling the climate crisis head-on, and addressing gender equality and women's empowerment is foundational to our approach at the United States Agency for International Development, known as USAID. Climate-related extreme weather conditions are increasing every year. Research shows women and children are 14 times more likely than men to face adverse effects of climate disasters. USAID, in partnership with the Government of India, is working to improve opportunities for women and strengthen their climate resilience.
Eminent Sanskrit Pandit and researcher Sri Bhashyam Vijaya Saradi has been extended warm welcome at Karimnagar when he came back after receiving Padma Shri Award for the year 2020 from the President Ramnath Kovind recently. He thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who had come to him and shared a few words at the time of award presentation.
Union Sports Minister Anurag Thakur has lauded the UP government for recognizing the efforts of para-athletes and felicitating para-athletes who won medals at the Tokyo Paralympics. Addressing a function organized to felicitate Tokyo Paralympics medalists in Meerut yesterday, the minister said 7 out of all the medalist Paralympians were from Western UP. Mr. Thakur appreciated the Meerut sports goods industry for its contribution in nurturing sports, saying, "The bat of Meerut is a symbol of self-reliant India." In T20 Cricket World Cup, Australia entered the final, defeating Pakistan by 5 wickets in Dubai last night. Australia chased the target of 177 runs, losing 5 wickets, riding on 40 by Marcus Stoinis and unbeaten 41 by Matthew Wade. Player of the match, Wade, finished the game with 3 back-to-back sixes off Shaheen Shah Afridi and finished the game with an over to spare. Australia will now lock horns against New Zealand in the summit clash on Sunday at the Dubai International Stadium.
The Regional Met Department has said that the depression over north coastal Tamil Nadu moved after the landfall and lay centered at the Bay of Bengal over north coastal Tamil Nadu, about 40 kilometers east-southeast of Chennai. It is very likely to move west-northwestwards and weaken gradually into a well-marked low-pressure area by today morning. The Met Department said that moderate to heavy rains will continue to hit some parts of the northern districts today. Holiday has been declared for educational institutions in 11 districts today.
And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi is likely to have shallow fog. The temperature will vary between 13 and 27 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky. Chennai is expected to have cloudy sky with moderate rain. Kolkata will have mainly clear sky. Hyderabad is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Bengaluru will witness generally cloudy sky with light rain. Guwahati and Agartala will have fog or mist in the morning and mainly clear sky later. Imphal will have generally cloudy sky with light rain.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Hindustan Times leads with the headline, "Chennai is sinking in the rain." Putin's visit next month may coincide with Russian S-400 missile defense system delivery, reports the Tribune. Centre tells the Supreme Court that wider roads are needed in Char Dham region to move military equipment to counter Chinese military build-up across the LAC, writes the Indian Express. Very poor Delhi air slips to severe, writes the Pioneer. Air worsens as winds die down, farms fire continue, reports Hindustan Times. India seeks $1 trillion in climate finance to meet its targets, reports the Hindu. Cases of street crimes in the capital are up, even as murders and heinous crimes are down compared to last year's level, reports the Times of India, quoting Delhi police data. And finally, all new buildings coming up in the national capital may soon need mosquito-safe certificate, writes the Hindustan Times.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch 2 innovative customer-centric initiatives of the Reserve Bank of India at 11 a.m. today. Government says India's economy is fully back on track, with the indicators showing great results. President Ramnath Kovind urges governors to play the role of friend, philosopher and guide to public and government. New guidelines issued by Health Ministry for international arrivals to become effective from today. COVID vaccination coverage in the country crosses 110 crore 74 lakh mark. Public Service Broadcasting Day, commemorating Mahatma Gandhi's visit to All India Radio, being observed today. Met Office says depression over North Tamil Nadu coast to weaken gradually into a well-marked low-pressure area by this evening. Union Sports Minister Anurag Thakur lauds UP government for recognizing the efforts of para-athletes who won medals at the Tokyo Paralympics. And in T20 Cricket World Cup, Australia beat Pakistan by 5 wickets in Dubai to enter the final, to take on New Zealand in the summit clash on Sunday. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.